Now, on our notes, we have two types of notes, as you do in Sage 100 Contractor Service Receivables. You have the customer viewable and internal. And this allows you as a technician to, first off, one, if you're needing to read the notes that your dispatcher put in there, you would see those right there, and I can verify all the notes and say, yep, I need to go, hedge this lawn here, or, forgive my terrible use of terminology, but you could see exactly what things you need to do. If it's this panel, you could say install the panel in the east wing in room number 23. That could show there as a note. Also, as a technician, I could say I got here and I had to reset the breaker. We can create custom drop-downs, so things with your company verbiage on it, so that every single time a customer gets billed for a certain type of work, the same notes can show up on each for each time. So it's more consistentness on there. It also saves your technician from having to type it out. And your technician can use their speech to text and talk right into their device and have it record what they're saying if you prefer them to have to do that. I can also, of course, put in the simple thing of install the panel. And if I want to put in a note back for the office, I can say maybe got done early, heading to next site 15 minutes ahead of time. I can put that right in here and automatically have this email my service manager when I submit these notes. So these notes not only are getting put directly into Sage 100 Contractor immediately onto work order 128, but it's also being emailed to whomever I need to have be contacted when I did this. And actually, that's a good point, and we'll swing back over there in just a minute, but note that this is a direct connection back with Sage 100 Contractor. So I'm just going to bring this up for one quick moment before we get back to the work ticket. But, or actually, it's taking a second here. That work ticket 128 that we're working on right there, bring that up, is live. And we can already see the notes coming into the system. Reset the breaker, installed the panel. Just note that everything their technician's doing is happening live in your Sage 100 Contractor database, so that it's one of those accountability pieces where if you're someone back at the office trying to keep up with your technicians, what are they doing? Note that you can know exactly what they're doing and when they're entering it into the system. There is no delay. It's all within there. So filling in all the notes they need to do, all that's done. We also have our assignments. Now, a couple things. I talk to different groups of people. We have some people that go out, singular technician goes out and do their work. They fill out their own assignments. We also have groups where you might have a crew going out and one person's filling it out for other people. We can accommodate either one. You can have multiple assignments here. That's why we have all assignment completes. You can click that and everyone completes their assignment or starts their assignment. Also note we have two different ways of capturing labor time, and we'll talk a little bit more about time here in a minute when we get to the that portion of here. But note that you can have your technicians do a punch in and punch out for all the time they did on a work order, and that's exactly what this does. When I click Start on this, I started my timer. And when I click Assignment Complete, when I'm all done, it stops the timer. And we can have that time go directly into payroll versus having to actually manually type it in. It's not for everybody. There's some companies that don't want to have to worry about that extra bit of tracking, but it's there as an option if you'd want to use it. And if you do want to use it, do note that every time you click one of these assignment updates, it is geo-stamping and time-stamping the place and what time they did it. So you can always go back and audit and make sure they were actually at the job and not at the Starbucks down the street. We mentioned earlier you can add the hours in manually, or if you have a crew, you can grab those people. Me and Dustin maybe perhaps worked on this, or maybe I just did the install panel myself. I did it for 2 hours, billing for 2 hours, and all my rates will come over into the system as they've been set up in my 100 Contractor. Put in my labor hours as we go through, and then whatever parts we use. Now, we have a couple different things on parts. We can go directly from an assembly, or we can do inventory parts if you're tracking inventory, or we have miscellaneous items. Perhaps I'm on an assembly, and I think if I go here and add assembly, I might have a panel in here already. Let's see what we got. Perfect. We got an amp service and panel. Let's say I'm grabbing that, and we're going to go ahead and sell that for $250 and add that to the piece here. these lookups into your Sage 100 Contractor allow us to quickly grab full assemblies or full parts. And if you find that I'm missing something, oh, you know, I need a couple cables or something that I don't have, and I need to go buy them. We do have the ability to create purchase orders in the system as well. If your technician's been turned on to allow it, they can create a PO. That PO can be filled out, which goes directly into your 661 purchase order screen. They can take a picture of the receipt, take a picture of the product that they bought, so that those are all tied together, and your service manager can make sure, or your AP person can make sure everything is legit when they go do that. It's all tied together. And again, you can turn that on or off depending upon your technician. And if your technician happens to be needing to borrow a part from somebody else, we have inventory locations here as well, and we can track different trucks. And again, I meet my buddy out at the Starbucks, you know, for lunch, and I borrow the cables from his truck. I could say I took these from his truck, and it will lower his inventory location from there. So we can track different inventory locations, where things came from, keeping everything up to date so you don't have to worry about doing an audit every single week or every day to make sure that your trucks have everything they need. You can also come in here and do miscellaneous time. Maybe we have a trip charge that we want to add to this. You know, it's 25 bucks, something quick like that, that we want to put on here as well. Filling out all the different work. And again, if you are one of those companies that your technician doesn't do all this stuff, they're just they're just reading to see what they need, you could have this all filled out. You can do it all right in 100 Contractor, and this is going to pull right from what that work order has. And they could also take pictures. So this is connected to their camera roll or to their camera itself on their tablet or their smartphone. And you can take pictures, maybe before and after pictures, or you come in and you see some damage that's already there. You could take a picture and say, hey, there was already damage here before I started. Just kind of record that in the system. Anything you guys want to do for attachments, we can do that. Pictures will automatically get tagged onto the work ticket if you'd like them to. And then we get the reporting. Talked earlier about all the paper that you have to use. Of course, most people have the main service report. Maybe it's the triplicate, pink, yellow, white paper that you fill out that has all the information. That's right here in the service report. But do know you can create custom reports in here to do all the other types of paper that you might have to fill out. Safety checklists, payment forms, device listings, customer satisfaction forms. If you have specific exact forms that you need the government to fill out, we could actually create those for you. But we do have a report designer built in, so you can do those different types of forms that you want to fill out, get created, and do them all in the field. And then we have the actual service report. This takes all the information that was on the work ticket, the notes, the time, and all that stuff, and puts it onto the tablet. And it's a little customizable as well, so you can make sure it's showing you exactly what you need. And you can hand this over to the customer and say, hey, this is what I did. This is the parts I used. This is the amount of labor I'm billing you for. Is everything legit? And the customer can add their notes. They can put their email address to get automatically emailed this when they're done. And they can sign off on this. You can have your technician sign off on it if you want to as well. And all that gets signed off. You accept the agreement, and this then emails the customer, and it adds it to the work ticket in Sage 100 Contractor, and it emails your service manager right away, so they can go in Sage 100 Contractor and bill it and send and create the invoice right there without having to wait for that ticket to come back in from the technician at the end of the day or at the end of the week and then get retranscoded. Again, we're live. And by the way, I can complete this and return to my assignments, and this is where I'd say save to payroll if I was actually using that as the start-stop time payroll. So that technician's now done. We go ahead and goes back over to our main service site, and that PDF document that was just created and signed off gets sent over to the office to where they can pull up that work ticket with all the information I just filled out already on it. They can make any changes if you need to. You're not stuck from doing that. You can say, yep, you're right. We're going to give a discount on this case as a good customer. We're only going to do $75 on there. Whatever you need to do, you create it, you save it, and you turn this into that billing right away without having to wait for everything or recode everything. And by the way, while my technician was out there at the work ticket, maybe I just completed everything. Before I leave, I could also point out that quote we talked about earlier. I can say, hey, you know, AC, it's kind of hot outside right now. Notice your AC might be having some issues. We've already worked on it a couple times. I looked at it in my notes. Do you want me to get you a quote to actually have someone come in and replace the AC? And the customer says, yeah, sure, get me a quote. And you say, replace AC unit. And then I can say, technician comments to the back office, it's broken twice, making noises now. And, you know, part description not needed in this case, but I can generate that quote and that technician's done. Hey, there's my quote, walk away. But that quote then gets emailed over to somebody back in the office where they can pull up quote 74 and actually fill out all the details. What parts do I think I need? How much labor time do I think that'll be? We get everything to the point where you get a little estimate summary to make sure you're actually making decent profit before emailing this over and sending a PDF quote to the customer. We track it all in the system and allow your customer, once they say yes, go with it, you can turn this into a work ticket and get that assigned out without having to wait. So we have a whole quoting system here as well, and a place where you can run and do reports on the different quotes that are sitting out there.